My name is Abel Collins. I am on the executive committee of the Sierra Club, and I'm very excited to be here today. Just wanted to recognize that Congressman Langevin has arrived, and thank you for your leadership. We'll be talking about those federal races a little bit later. I'm here to talk about our endorsement in the treasurer's race this year. The treasurer's office, perhaps not usually a topic of environmental concern in the past, but I think Treasurer Raimondo has really done a job of bringing socially responsible investing to the State House here, one of her great accomplishments. She made environmental investing a possibility for state employees. So we're looking for our next treasurer to continue on in that spirit and do even more. Seth Magaziner, who is not here today, but who would like to be, of course, is the candidate that we've chosen to endorse because he has spoken so earnestly about making those socially responsible investments, about working with the governor's office to create a green bank to invest in green infrastructure going forward, creating jobs, and helping our planet. So I hope you will join all of us in supporting Seth on Election Day, November 4th. I will now hand it off to Art Handy, I believe, who's going to talk. I was going to hand it off to Art to talk about the state rep races, but you didn't know that?
Yeah, I didn't know you were handing it off. That's right.
Well, Seth was supposed to be here.
You're supposed to read the list.
Well, how about I read the list then real quick? How's that? Do you have the... All right, I'll read the list real quick. I was asked to come up as, this is actually my seventh time being endorsed, and so I'm excited as always to be here and proud to be here once again, and proud to stand with my colleagues across state government, those that are in and those that are hoping to be in. What I have seen about what this endorsement process does is it really helps a lot of folks that maybe aren't as familiar with some of the really nuts and bolts issues, the real basic things that really make our environmental work here in the state happen, help educate them and then get them more excited about being able to do things about that when they come back to the building. So it really provides more than just an opportunity for voters to know what to do. It actually provides candidates an opportunity to know what to do. So I'm proud. Actually, before I was elected, long before I was elected, I'd been involved with a lot of the organizations that are working on this. So I'm excited to be here. Again, as Abel had said, Seth Magaziner, I think, has a great opportunity, just as Treasurer Raimondo did. Oh, and there's Seth Magaziner coming up the way here. But and I've heard Treasurer Raimondo as treasurer talking about things, but I've also heard her as a candidate talking about some exciting things. So I'm really looking forward to being able to work with her on those things as we're going forward. Again, we've got Seth Magaziner coming up, but while he's walking up, why don't I read through the candidates that we've got the Clean Water Action Sierra Club have endorsed this year. We've got Edith DeGello in Providence, Chris Blazajewski, who's here with us today from Providence, Aaron Regenberg, candidate running here in Providence, also here, Grace Diaz, Art Handy from Cranston, David Bennett, who's Cranston and Warwick, Joe Solomon running in Warwick, Scott Guthrie in Coventry, Lisa Tomaso running in West Greenwich and Coventry. I'm sorry, in West Greenwich and Coventry. Julie Casimiro, Exeter North Kingstown. I wasn't sure if that was you, Julie. Great to have you here. Teresa Tanzi, Narragansett, South Kingstown. Donna Walsh, South Kingstown, Charlestown, Westerly, and New Shoreham, also known as Block Island, for those there like myself that don't always think of that. Larry Valencia, Richmond, Exeter, and Hopkinton. Jay O'Grady, Lincoln and Pawtucket. Shelby Maldonado in Central Falls. Carlos Tobon, North Providence and Pawtucket. Linda Finn, Portsmouth, Middletown, and Newport. I should mention that Carlos, at least for now, I believe is only endorsed by Clean Water Action. I didn't want to, I know they have a trend here. Deborah Ruggiero down in Jamestown and Middletown, and then Lauren Corson, who's also here with us running in Newport. So again, should I read through the Senate candidates? I don't know if we have anybody coming from the Senate.
Because Teresa has had to change her schedule.
And Senate President Paiva-Weed, I know, had hoped to be able to be here, but we've been able. There's a lot of great environmental candidates in the Senate, including Senator Paiva-Weed. But we've got Gail Golden in Providence, Adam Satchel in West Warwick. Blowing around here. Louis De Palma, Middletown, Little Compton, Tiverton, and Newport, Sierra Club only. Teresa Paiva-Weed, Jamestown and Newport, as I just mentioned. William Conley, Bill Conley, who worked with me this year on the Resilient Rhode Island Act, East Providence and Pawtucket. Margot Morisseau, Coventry, Foster, and Scituate. Steve Archambault, Smithfield, North Providence, and Johnston. Well, I didn't really have 3 towns there. Laurie Archambault, I don't believe there's any relation, but I'm not certain. Gloucester, Smithfield, and Burrillville. Josh Miller, Cranston and Warwick, my senator. William Walaska in Warwick. Catherine Cole-Rumsey, Charlestown, Exeter, Hopkinton, Richmond, and West Greenwich. Wow. And Susan Sosnowski, my counterpart on the Senate side, that's the chair of the Environment Committee over there, New Shoreham, South Kingstown. Again, I want to congratulate everyone that's been endorsed and say that I'm looking forward to working with everyone again next session. Thank you.
Mabel, you want to reintroduce Seth?
Yes, you want to introduce?
Sorry.
So I spoke too soon when I said Seth couldn't be with us, I guess. Here he is in the flesh.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here and to be the Clean Water Action and Sierra Club candidate for treasurer. I said this last night at the Clean Water Action fundraiser. I don't care what position you're running for this year, whether it's treasurer, Congress, governor, school committee, city council. You better have some ideas for how you are going to use your position to help combat climate change and clean up our environment here in Rhode Island. This is a moral issue and it's an economic issue as well. We are the ocean state. We know that climate change is real. We know that the effects of climate change impact our health and our economy. And we also know that the solutions, so many of the solutions to combating climate change are job-creating solutions that can put people back to work in this time when we desperately need jobs here in Rhode Island with the 3rd highest unemployment rate in the country. So I'm excited to do my part as General Treasurer. I am very grateful to the Sierra Club and Clean Water Action for the work that they do. And now let's all of us get to work. We've got elections to win in the next 2.5 weeks, and then the real work begins. Thank you.
I'll do it. Thanks very much. It's my pleasure to introduce our congressman for the final remarks of today's presentation, and we'll start with Congressman Langeman. Thanks so much for joining us. Want me to hold the microphone?
Jorge Alorza is coming.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll end with him.
Well, thank you very much, and I too want to thank both the Sierra Club and Clean Water Action for this endorsement. I'm proud to be here today with my colleague David Cicilline. Together, David and I, of course, have an uphill battle dealing with this Congress and trying to bring responsible legislation to the floor that would affect climate change in a positive way. But we are renewed by your trust, by your support, and most especially by the work that you do every day to try to protect our environment. So I am very grateful for the endorsement. Proud to be here with my fellow candidates and office holders here as well. I share their gratitude and their enthusiasm for the work that you do day in and day out. Like it or not, Rhode Island is on the cutting edge, on the forefront of dealing with climate change because we have to. We recognize the effects that climate change has had on our state, on our quality of life here. We see it on the impacts on our health. We see it on our beaches. We see that impact on our tables every day with the price of food and how that has escalated because of the effects of severe storms and droughts and again just broader effects of climate change. So on the federal level, I want you to know that we're looking for every opportunity to support our colleagues and to support legislation that will mitigate the effects of climate change, both now and in the future. I'm a proud founding member of the Sustainable Energy and Environmental Coalition in the Congress. I chair a task force on that coalition, and we're constantly holding briefings and supporting legislation that deal with climate change. I have introduced legislation that has that would called the Building Efficiently Act, which encourages energy efficient construction and retrofits. I've actually introduced a bill now for the last couple of years that would add a category of socially responsible investing as a category to the options that federal employees have when they're investing their retirement dollars. There's about 4 categories right now that they can choose in other areas. I want one specifically dedicated to investing in companies that are socially responsible. So that's just a couple of the areas of things that I'm championing and calling for. We, of course, are so proud to have Senator Sheldon Whitehouse in the United States Senate, who has been just a national leader on climate change and is really leading the fight on the Senate side. We are proud to look to him as a resource and a role model and someone that we look to support as he continues his work. I know I speak for David when we're so proud of the work that Sheldon is doing, of course, along with Senator Jack Reed on the Senate side. We're all in this together, and it's so good to know that we have an organization, or we have organizations like Clean Water Action and the Sierra Club who are doing the work on the grassroots level right here. Change is coming because of the work that you are doing, both here in our state, but also your colleagues and counterparts across the country. Sheldon said it best last night, that change is going to come in the Congress, not because of our colleagues coming to their senses and deciding to wake up and hear the scientific expertise and the information that is self-evident, but it's going to come because they hear from the voters loud and clear that you can't just deny that climate change is here and we need to act now. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you so much for this endorsement. We're going on to November, hopefully for big victories up and down the ticket because of the candidates that you have endorsed and hopefully across the country. Thank you very much.
You know what he meant.
Thank you, Congressman. Now we're looking forward to some remarks from Congressman Cicilline.
Thank you very much. I am delighted to be here first to say thank you to Clean Water Action and the Sierra Club for this endorsement. I'm incredibly proud to stand with all of the colleagues who are here and candidates who are here who are committed to ensuring that we do all that we can to be responsible stewards of our environment and responsible stewards of our economy and responsible stewards of the quality of life in our state. As Seth said, this is a responsibility of every single person who holds public office, from town councils to city councils to school boards to Congress to the governor's office, to think about what strategies, what programs, what initiatives, what things can we do at every level of government to really address the urgent challenge of climate change. And as Jim mentioned, we have a great champion in our Senator Whitehouse, who has helped to really raise the conscience of the country about this issue. And as Gina mentioned, it's not only good in terms of quality of life for our recreation and use of and protection of the natural beauty of our state, it's very important to our economic growth. These are, renewable energy and innovations to deal with climate change are ways that will drive the economy of our state. Rhode Island can continue to be an example to the country about how you can do that well, how you can both grow jobs, create economic opportunity, and be responsible stewards of our environment. I think we all understand that we face very serious, we are seeing the consequences of not responding to this play out all over the world, and we saw it here in our own state. And so I think we all have to ask ourselves, when our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren say, you are learning all about this environmental damage caused by carbon emissions, what did you do to stop it? And I think we have to be able to answer that question, that we did everything we possibly could by fighting for responsible policies. I know that's what all these candidates are committed to. That's what I'm committed to. As Jim mentioned, we're fighting in a pretty hostile work environment right now on the issue of climate change in the Republican House, but it's an issue we fight for every day. We understand very deeply because of the beauty of our state and because of the consequences of not addressing this issue here in Rhode Island. So thank you again for the endorsement.
Hello. My name is Asher Schofield. I am a small business owner in Providence. I am also on the executive committee of the Rhode Island Sierra Club. And I'm pleased to announce that after careful consideration, we will be endorsing the candidacy of Jorge Elorza for mayor. Jorge Elorza truly understands the unique relationship between the economy and sustainability. and that by providing green jobs, developing our public transportation further, by introducing more bike lanes throughout our city, we can really positively impact the small business community that we have here already. Through pushing policy on sustaining our environment, keeping our water clean, we're confident that Jorge Elorza is going to be the best choice for Mayor of Providence. Please allow me to introduce Mr. Elorza, Jorge Elorza.
Thank you so much, Asher. I want to say that it's a great honor to have received the endorsement of Clean Water Action and also of the Sierra Club. It's a great honor for me because your priorities are my priorities and they're all of our priorities, just as they're the priorities of so many great elected and community leaders that I have standing around me and before me today. So thank you to all the elected officials who are here. Thank you to the Sierra Club, and thank you also to Clean Water Action. I'm very much moved by this idea that we currently are the first generation to feel the effects of climate change, and we're also the last generation that can do something about it. And so it's a moral imperative that we think globally and also act locally to make this as sustainable a city, a state, and a country as we can. The Office of Sustainability here in Providence and our great nonprofits, they've done so much special and important work to improve sustainability here in the city. And I want you to know that as mayor here in the city of Providence, you're not just going to have an advocate, but you're going to have a friend in City Hall to make sure that we move forward our collective and our shared vision and agenda and platform here in the city of Providence. Because as I mentioned, your priorities are my priorities and they're our priorities. I'm committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and making Providence one of the cities that is most energy efficient in all of our public buildings in all of the state and throughout New England. I also believe that we need a transportation system that's designed around people and not around cars. I believe that we need to, thank you. I believe we need to make our streets not just safer, but much more friendly for bike riders and for pedestrians. We need more protected bike lanes, and we need to make sure that our bus stops are more accessible and visible for our RIPTA riders. Currently, there's substantial renovations happening at Kennedy Plaza, and I will make sure that as mayor here in Providence, I'm a constant advocate with RIPTA and with the entire transportation system to make sure that decision makers are hearing the concerns and the interests of our public transit riders. We also need better education around bike safety for bicyclists and also for drivers. We need to expand walking school buses. And we also need to integrate pedestrian walk signals and regular traffic cycles throughout our city. We need to do a much better job of promoting recycling, reducing waste, and making sure that we have a citywide composting program that we're truly committed to throughout the city of Providence. I like that as well, a citywide composting program. I also want to make sure that all of our neighbors and all of our neighborhoods have access to community gardens and locally grown foods. My vision for sustainability and for community gardens is that I want every single child in our city to live within walking distance of a community garden and to have healthy and fresh food options at eye level in every corner store of the city. Those are our aspirations, and that's the vision that we're going to work towards. And also another issue that's very near and dear to my heart is the issue of lead poisoning and lead prevention throughout the city. I want to make sure that all of our homes are properly inspected so that we're reducing the lead poisoning problem that has infected our city for such a long time. As an attorney, I represented the city of Providence and also a group of 50 community-based organizations in an amicus brief before the Superior Court and also the State Supreme Court to make sure that we preserve the constitutionality of the Lead Hazard Mitigation Act. And we fought it until the State Supreme Court, until the constitutionality of that act was upheld. And then I also had the great honor of sitting on the Providence Housing Court and being the first judge here in Providence to hear the renewed lead paint docket that we started here in the city of Providence. And so we're going to make sure that we not only inspect all of our properties, that we prosecute these cases, but that we make sure that every single house here in the city is lead safe for every single child. So these are just the beginning of the conversations and the platform. And as I said, your priorities are my priorities, are our priorities. And together, we'll continue to take all of the necessary steps to make Providence a national leader on sustainability issues. Thank you all so much, and I look forward to working together for a long, long time to come. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. So that is the end of the prepared remarks for today's event. We have time for a few questions if anybody has questions for the candidates that they'd like to throw forward.